We've spoken about focus, attention, and concentration. Now we look at how to get the most out of your focus. Sometimes we struggle to focus and we don't understand why. I'll be discussing ways to get rid of distractions that further hinder your focus, given you already know how to focus well. We'll be looking at what causes distraction even when you know you can focus, and ways to deal with these distractions that reduce the quality of your concentration. The principle of getting things done, GTD, is a productivity method that is built on capturing every task that demands your attention in one place. This often means writing down every task so you can tackle all the tasks systematically instead of juggling them in your head. The system is simple but flexible enough to apply to many situations. So here's how the system works. 1. Write down everything you need to do. This clears the mental clutter that prevents your brain from wasting energy holding open tabs. 2. Decide what each task actually requires. Break them down into actionable steps and rank them by urgency. 3. Work on the most urgent or meaningful tasks first, reducing the mental distraction of undone work. The more urgent the task, the greater the distraction. We want to be productive while getting rid of distractions. The key insight of GTD is that distractions come more from our minds than from our environment. Your brain nags you about incomplete work, draining focus. For example, if you know you must submit something tonight, but try working on a task that is due in 2 days, your productivity plummets. What could have taken you 1 hour stretches to take you 3 hours. GTD helps by reducing these inner distractions that you inflict on yourself without knowing. You stop expending unnecessary mental energy and redirect the brain's limited resources toward a task that you're doing. This also links to the talk we had on multitasking. If you haven't listened to that, the link is in the description. I'll also include it in the video. What we're talking about is not exactly multitasking, but the consequences are similar. When you apply the principle of GTD, you stop expending unnecessary brain power so you can use your brain's precious resources to focus on the task that you want to do instead of worrying about something that should have been done. Now for the Zeigarnik Effect. The Zeigarnik Effect is a psychological phenomenon that is named after female Lithuanian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. It occurs when a person remembers an unfinished task better than they'd remember once they finished. We need to understand how she observed it in order to have a deeper understanding of how it works and how you can use this to your advantage. It makes it easier to conceptualize the whole thing. It was in the 1920s. Zeigarnik Bluma was sitting in a busy restaurant in Vienna. The waiters were going up and down taking customer orders. Zeigarnik observed that the waiters were getting every customer's order correctly, and they kept doing this for every new customer that walked in. The waiters were able to keep track of complex orders and to which table each order belonged. All unpaid orders were easily tracked, but as soon as the order had been paid, the waiter struggled to remember the details about the order. This suggested that unfinished tasks stay active in our short-term memory until they are either completed or deliberately closed. Just to make sure we understand it one more time, I like this short version that I got from Sonke Aren's book, Zeigarnik Effect. Open tasks tend to occupy our short-term memory until they are done, or until we are convinced that they will be done. So, what does this help you with? You can use the Zeigarnik Effect to your advantage in one of two ways. Each solves a different problem. Okay? So, the first way is to combat procrastination. Simply start a task. If you don't finish it, your brain will keep nudging you to complete it. Though I must say, if you're a skilled procrastinator, this can also backfire. Probably will. Secondly, it can help you increase productivity. Once you recognize a task is unfinished, finish it. This frees up mental resources and removes the drag of splitting focus between what you're doing now and what still lingers undone. Now, both GTD and the Zeigarnik Effect deal with mental cost of unfinished tasks, but they approach it from different angles. One is a solution, one is a diagnosis. The Zeigarnik Effect concerns unfinished tasks occupying short-term memory and draining focus. GTD method is a way to capture tasks on an external medium and create an actionable plan to complete them. If you feel overwhelmed and you know you have many tasks to complete, you're likely experiencing the Zeigarnik Effect. You know what needs to be done, but tracking everything in your head consumes the very resources you need to actually do the work. Much of this mental load happens unconsciously. Your short-term memory is overloaded without you realizing it. This is where GTD comes in. Start simple. Take a piece of paper and write down the tasks. Clarify what each one requires of you. Then form a realistic, actionable plan to complete them one by one. By externalizing the list, you remove the burden of mentally keeping track of everything at once. This frees your brain to focus fully on the task in front of you instead of being slowed down by the weight of everything left undone or thinking it might be left undone. You can also apply GTD partially. Writing down a task with the intention of handling it later often convinces your brain to release it, reducing the nagging thoughts. The caveat, though, is as much as you get relief quickly, if you never revisit your list, those tasks risk being forgotten. GTD works best when you capture and you plan to follow through, then you actually do follow through. Now we'll look at a third element, which isn't as easily related to attention, but it'll come together. Every day, we're faced with countless choices, from what to eat, to what to watch, to how to structure your work. Decision-making feels natural, but each choice requires focus and mental energy. Over time, this can erode our ability to direct our attention deliberately. This phenomenon is often called decision fatigue. The more decisions you make consecutively, the harder it becomes to control your focus and willpower. Tasks that require discipline, like going to the gym or staying to a study schedule, become harder to follow through after repeated decision making. Take an example. When exams are looming, many students let everyday decisions slide. Things like cooking, for instance, doesn't take time. It requires multiple choices. That's the reason it's not done. From what meal should I make, to what ingredients do I need, to how much study time will I lose while cooking. Faced with this cognitive load after hours of studying, students often default to shortcuts. Batch cooking the same meal for several days, living on takeaways, or in some cases, even skipping meals. Yeah, I'm guilty too. The issue isn't money or ability. For some it is. But for most, it's the drain of decision-making itself. Even without realizing it, they're choosing to make less decisions because they want to be able to direct their attention at will with as much ease as possible when it's time to study. Like I said earlier, the link between decision-making and attention may feel less obvious than in the earlier topics we discussed, but the effects are undeniable. If you want to strengthen your ability to focus, start by reducing the number of decisions you have to make. And when decisions do come up, avoid overcomplicating them. If it's not that deep, don't make it deep. If you feel overwhelmed by decisions, two main strategies help. One, reduce the trivial decisions in advance. Plan meals, automate routines, and batch choices so your mind stays free for important tasks. Secondly, rest before making more important decisions. If your attention is depleted, step away, take a nap, and then you'll be good. By simplifying the decisions you face, you protect your mental energy and preserve attention for work that truly matters.